Okay, so today I'm going to walk you through doing the full nail decal for the beautiful purple and gold look that I had on in the pictures. So what I've done is it's fairly straightforward to start off with. I've painted my pinky with Messy Mansion Location. I've painted my index finger with Messy Mansion Garden Party, and the two in the middle I've done with Messy Mansion Hoarder, which is a beautiful gold colour. Okay, today I'm going to be using Classic 02, which is part of our classic set, and I'll be using this image in this corner here. Stamping with Messy Mansion Carbon, and top coat with Messy Mansion Top Notch. Okay, and stamper wise I'm going to be using my what's become my go-to stamper, which is a clear crystal stamper, crystal 2.0 stamper, which I'm just going to clean with acetone to bring that up. There we go. Okay, so let's get started. First off is stamping in black to make the decal. So it's just a straightforward stamp to get it on the stamper. So there we go. I'm going to let that dry, and while that's drying I'm just going to sort myself out to start filling that in. So I'm using a dotting tool with a very fine tip on it. So that's it there. You can see how fine that is. Really fine. Just because this image is quite delicate, and trying to fill in those little bits and bobs with a bigger dotting tool, I'm not going to get nice edges. Okay, so I'm just going to use the back of another plate as a palette for this, and I'm filling it in with location, and garden party. So we'll start with location first, and I'll just put a little bit of polish out on the plate, and I'll just go through and fill in the little ones down the bottom. Now I'm being very careful that I don't poke the design underneath, because that will lift the design up off the stamp, and we don't want that to happen. So with the finer the dotting tool, the more likely you are to damage that underneath stamping, underneath your design. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it round and we'll do the other side. Just going through and putting just little dots on in the bottom section of these little fluted pieces. Nearly there. I actually considered first up doing a whole hand worth of these, and then I sort of did one as a test run, and I thought, no, that's a bit too much work, so I'm going to go with it as an accent nail instead. So okay, so they're all done. I'm just using a cotton round to clean up the point of my dotting tool. I want to make sure I don't leave any cotton on the dotting tool itself. Okay, so that's clean now, and now we'll just put a few dots of the garden party on there. I'm using a bit more of this polish, so I'll put a bit more out. Oh, there we go. I tend to put a fair amount of polish out because I don't want it to dry up when I'm partway through. Alrighty, so now I'm just going through and very carefully filling in the lines on that, in that design. this is a very fine design, so it may take me a little while. I'll probably cut some of this out because I think you get the idea. And if I do want to have a look to see how I'm going, I can always check, always look down the end this way, and that will show me how I'm going. I can't seem to get that to focus, but I think you get the idea. There we go. So just going through, a fine little brush would work too. I tend to prefer a dotting tool just because I seem to be able to get a bit more control, but I know other people prefer brushes. Either way is fine. When I'm doing this, I try and kind of start from the inside patterns and work out a little bit, just because I don't want to end up messing up the outside of the pattern while I'm looking after the inside part of it. So just a little bit easier that way. And this is one of the things I actually like about doing it on a stamper rather than a mat, is that you can move it around a bit more, so you don't disturb the rest of it. Okay, so we're nearly there. It's quite painstaking, and hopefully I've done an alright job. I just received an SMS message to say my new glasses are in the store and I can go and get them, which is going to make this a whole lot easier. Always makes a difference if you can see what you're doing, doesn't it? Alright. A few little pale patches. I'm just going to go back over them. Check my progress. That's coming on well. So in a minute I'll be ready just to leave this to dry. And I want this fairly reasonably thoroughly dry before I try to apply it. So just going over any little pale patches, and I think we're nearly there. We're going to let that dry and come back in a couple of minutes to apply it. Back soon. Okay, so I'm back. That's now touch dry. Still not 100%, but it will do. And I'm going to use Messy Mansion Decal Makeup Polish. This is a really thin polish. So it doesn't add huge amounts of extra layers of polish to your nails when you're making decals. And I'm going to put it on this finger here, I think. So, paint it over. Just need one thin coat, so we don't want to add too much thickness to the nail. Put that on, and then we just wait for a little bit until that's just dried up enough to be tacky. So I won't test it now, I'll test it in a minute, but even while we're waiting for this, this is going to finish up drying off, so that'll be nice and done. How are we going? Not quite dry enough. While I was waiting for this to dry, I just got everything cleaned up. I kind of like making sure that everything's tidy, and it just means that if I clean as I go, it's not such a big mess at the end. There's always little bits and pieces when you do your nails that you need to wait for things to happen, so particularly with decals. Okay, so that's sticky now, so what I'm going to do is line this up through the end, and I'm not pressing really hard, I'm just going quite light, can see I'm lined it up that way, and I'm just backwards and forwards on it, and that's transferred it to my nail. Okay, so I'm going to go and clean this up and take some photos, and we're done. Thanks for watching, guys.